Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Reviews, and my God, I just wrapped up a couple hours ago Stranger Things Season 3, or is it Stranger Things 3? You know what? It's definitely like a movie. It played out like an 8 hour long film, and it was hard to not binge it all in one go. I had to spread it out over the span of like 3 days, and that was a chore, a challenge, I want to say, because I just wanted to dive in all one go, and I was absolutely 100% satisfied with how it turned out, and I had a lot of fun with it. Specifically, something towards the end, which I will talk about. So this is a spoiler review. If you want to know how I just generally feel about it, here's the thing: if you like Stranger Things season 1, Stranger Things season 2, by all means, check this one out. It just continues an already good storyline, and it makes up for a lot of the follies that season 2 had, specifically with that one, cliffhanger, and then a whole episode dedicated to Eleven traveling to Chicago to meet her weird sister. Yeah, that's gone. In fact, that's gone. That's gone. We're gonna just leave it at that. I'm so happy that wasn't there. That was so much filler that just killed the momentum of last season. It was no one likes no one likes episode 7 from last season. No one. Anyway, this particular season, as we're getting into spoiler territory now, picks up 6 months after the events of season 2. Everyone is settled back in to the year. We're a month into summer. Hawkins is a sweltering mess, and of course, everyone is off doing their own thing. Lucas and Max are still together, although they're fighting all the time. Dusty's been away at science camp for a month, and Mike and Eleven, well, they're pretty into each other, to Hopper's discontent. And of course, well, the Mind Flayer is still in Hawkins. This time around, it's escaped from Will. What they basically excised out of him in the last season didn't die when they shut the gate. It still was able to survive, and it was starting to get hungry, and it started rebuilding himself over 6 months. And this is something that is truly interesting, because it plays out like this creature feature. This whole season plays out like a damn creature feature, and I love it when it gets big enough. After consuming a lot of rats, it possesses Billy, Max's older brother, the douchebag from season 2, and from there he starts basically infecting people. He starts knocking them out and bringing them to the Mind Flayer in order to build up the army, to build towards something, to get strong enough to start to take over the town and then the world. And that's a crazy storyline. Also, at the same time, the new mall was built, and that is now being run by the Russians, apparently, because they're trying to find a way to open the gate. So they build Starcourt Mall, and they bribe the already corrupt mayor, played by Cary Elwes, to kind of look the other way as they acquire a whole bunch of properties on the outside of town, not too far away from the old facility, where they could get access to the gate and then try to get into that. And this is where Dustin and Steve Harrington and Robin, the new girl, and Erica, Lucas's younger sister, who was in last season, go on their grand adventure. There's a lot that goes on in 8 episodes. Like, I can't get into everything. So those are like the two storylines right there. You've got the Mind Flayer and you've got the Russians, and they're not connected really at all. To be fair, they're not connected, which I thought was a little interesting. I mean, the Russians were obviously trying to open the gate. By cracking it open, it might have been giving the Mind Flayer more power, and that once they open it, completely, it would have given him whatever he needed to keep going. But at the same time, the Mind Flayer was already in this world and had no real desire to get back to the Upside Down. He wanted to take out 11, and he wanted to control this world. But I will say this, though: when the Mind Flayer finally starts to assimilate all the people that they flayed, and they just basically turn to goo as they're walking towards him, it is an absolutely amazingly grotesque scene that I loved the ever-loving hell out of. I thought that was so crazy. How they played that off, how they did that was great, and I really liked it. I was like, I was watching it like, oh damn, that was good. I think probably the only thing about the Russian storyline that I think felt a bit off was like when they first introduced that the Russians were guarding a secret elevator at the back of the mall, and Dusty's like looking at them through binoculars, and there's just 2 dudes out there with like AKs, and I'm like, really? Okay, that was a little bit like, that was a little kind of unbelievable, as I know, as this whole season is really asking you to like test your believability. But after spending 2 seasons already in Hawkins and dealing with the Upside Down and dealing with the government intervention and the conspiracies and 11 and her powers, and how, it very much goes after a whole bunch of 80s tropes. This season, by the way, is the absolute quintessential peak 80s trope extravaganza. It's so many references, so many things are thrown in there. I do love how they turned Hopper's cabin into essentially Evil Dead at the they turned it into the Evil Dead cabin essentially, and there's a lot of little things here and there, but really the Never-Ending Story was the best reference. That was perfect. I'll get to that one. I'll get to that one here. So yeah, you've got Nancy and Will's older brother. They're still together. They're trying to do their thing as being reporters. So they start looking into like, crazy rats and certain things, certain fertilizers and chemicals disappearing. And that was kind of a wasted storyline. I know it got the ball rolling for Nancy. It really got the ball rolling for Nancy. But at the same time, it was like, okay, you know what? That's like, just get to the point. Just bring everyone together. And by the time they brought everybody together, it was pretty good. I really enjoyed Hopper and his coming to terms with being a dad of a teenage girl, and the teenage girl being in love with this boy, and him trying to find boundaries because they're always there together. And he feels like he's losing his little girl. I did enjoy that, although it did feel a little bit kind of out of place for how I think they kind of maybe rushed through that a little bit. But then again, it was only 8 episodes, just kind of like, Game of Thrones final season. They did pump a lot in there, and they could have gone for a bit longer. But then again, the effects on this freaking season were insane. I mean, like the not only the practical effects, but the CG effects were just nuts. And it was like super gory and super great, and a lot of fun scenes with all that kind of stuff. I like that Murray Bowman came back in. I like the introduction of Alexi's character for the short time he was there, but it gave us a chance to really connect with Murray. Murray is a conspiracy theorist. We met him in the last season, and here he meets a Russian scientist who's here in the United States, and working on this device to open a gate. He doesn't know about the Demogorgon or any of that other stuff yet, so he is more or less just like, now learning about it, but he hates this guy, and then he ends up becoming friends with them, and then of course really mourning his death at the hands of what can only be described as the Russian Terminator. The guy they got to play the Russian Terminator looked a lot like Michael Biehn, but with Arnold's haircut. And he was pretty brutal. He was pretty great. I liked him quite a bit. He was a good foil for Hopper. I think the 3 times they fought each other during the season, and his death was pretty cool. I enjoyed Hopper and Joyce kind of maybe finally coming to terms with the fact that they have feelings for one another, but Joyce is still feeling guilty over Bob's death, because for us, it's been like 2 years since the last season came out. So we're already fully aware that Bob's dead, but for these characters, it's only been 6 months. So they're still reeling with that. And I thought that was interesting, especially towards the end there, when we start to realize that, oh no, maybe they actually do like each other, especially when they set that final date, when they're sitting there and they go, let's go to Enzo's this Friday at 7. I was all like, yep, someone's going to die. Someone is going to die. And that, of course, was Hopper dead. I don't think Hopper's actually dead, because we didn't see it. To be fair, we didn't see it. We didn't see him die. So I don't think he's actually dead, but I felt that it was I think that part kind of felt a little bit weird to me, because I know they needed to shut the gate, and he killed the Terminator guy, and he could have just like run back up there and like turned it. But he kind of was like, no, just do it now, sacrifice myself. But he wasn't in a position to where he needed to sacrifice himself, which I thought that was a little bit weird. You know what I mean? I thought that was a little bit weird. I think it would have been better if he would have been holding on to the guy, like holding on to the Terminator dude, and then been like, do it now. And then holding that guy from killing Joyce, and then saving the kids, and then saving the town, and then ultimately saving the world from the mind flayer by then exploding this particular key. That would have been a better move, rather than him going like, maybe he just realized he didn't have the time to get back up there, but it didn't feel like there was a lot of time. It didn't really feel like they were under, I know they were under like a timeline, but it didn't feel like they were under like something that couldn't have spared 15 seconds to get from point A to point B. I think that's the only real like storyline gap that I think I had an issue with in the season, was just that right there. Like I called it, I saw it happening, but at the same time I'm all like, okay. But at the end of the day, it was great going back in with these characters. That never-ending story scene, because the whole thing too with Dustin and like Susie, is he lying? Is he making it up? And I was like, no, he's not lying about it. Why? For one, when has Dustin and the other seasons ever made up stuff like this? right? When has he ever really made these kind of things up? He hasn't. He's not like the chunk of the group. You know what I mean? Like they don't have a chunk in that group. I could see why they would maybe associate it with that. But because like, he's like, oh, I met this beautiful girl and she's gorgeous and she's great. And I have to like make this huge radio tower and take it out to the middle of nowhere. Made no sense. You know, like they were just doubting him the whole time. I think just to doubt him. That was another one of the narrative flaws, I think. But when he finally got in contact with her and she was like, Dusty Bun, sing me the song. And he's all like, no, she's like, well, I'm not going to give you what you need unless you sing me the song. So then they start singing the never ending story theme song. Right. And as soon as he sang that first note, I'm just like, no. And then it cuts to a shot of everyone in their current dire situation where you've got like everyone in the station wagon fleeing the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer is behind them on the road, chasing them down like the Terminator 2, the T-1000. And then you just hear them singing the Never Ending Story theme song. I was rolling with laughter so damn hard. It was so damn funny. It was so damn funny. And it's such a weird moment to have, but it's also so utterly, just utterly perfect for being right there. It just broke the tension. And it worked. It worked in so many ways for me. I thought it was fantastic. I laughed. It just, oh my God, it's still so funny. But that was, and then of course, Robin's, the new edition of Robin. I liked her quite a bit. Her being lesbian was definitely something that was a bit of an eye opener for Steve, especially after she was kind of confessing how she was obsessed with him. But at the end of the season, it kind of made it out that she might be maybe bisexual, but she's definitely got feelings for him. There's definitely like a love blossoming there, but we don't quite know what that is yet. And we don't know where that's going to go. But I think, if they do end up making her bisexual, they're really going to have to go in a way to explain that, because you're going to get a lot of angry people on the internet that are not going to be happy about that. But I don't really know where season 4 is going to go. I have some thoughts. I have some theories. I'm going to do a Stranger Things 4 predictions video over on 3 Buck Theater. If you guys made it this far in the video, tell me what you thought of season 3. I really, really, really liked it. It was short enough to not feel like it was super rushed, even though it was in a couple places, but it also wasn't stretched out over 13 episodes like some of Netflix originals that you're just like, okay, just keep it going. It was very tight, very concise when it needed to be, and it gave me a lot of great character moments for characters that I very much love. And this is another season that I'm looking forward to owning on home video, because I've got the other two. I've already got the other two on Blu-ray. This will in the major VHS thing box. This will be that as well. But anyway, your thoughts, your opinions. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Have a good one and peace out.